Hey, today I want to show you 5 ways for you to have a healthy relationship with your food. Alright, so I get it. It's not enough to just know what to eat, right? A lot of us know what to eat. We know that, hey, we should maybe pick the apple that's in the fridge instead of those cookies that are sitting on the counter, but we tend to pick those cookies anyways, right? So it's not just enough to know about nutrition and know what to eat. It's also how do we improve that relationship so when that cookie is staring us in the face that's sitting on the counter, we can make a different decision, and we can make a decision that helps us feel good, that helps us feel empowered, and that helps us move forward towards our goals. All right, so the first one I want to talk about is probably the toughest one to really ditch, and it's ditching the all-in mentality. It's ditching that perfectionism that so many of us have ingrained in our life, especially when it comes to food, right? We've been told for years that we have to go on a really strict diet where we have to change everything about what we're eating all at once, and we have to be perfect, otherwise we're a failure, or we did it wrong, or we're never gonna get to where we wanna go. But I'm here to tell you that trying to stick to this stuff that's super intense, that has a lot of diet rules, is impossible for about 98% of the population. And those 2% of people are probably not you and me sitting here right now. So it's really important that we ditch that mentality because it's keeping us stuck, right? I don't know about you, but I've done the diets where yes, I was super great and on track for 4 weeks or 8 weeks or maybe 3 days, so I was completely off track. But when I went off track, oh my gosh, if I wasn't all in, I was all off. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well. So what happens is we go through these cycles of being perfect, being all in, and then being hard on ourselves when we fall off and going completely off track. And those off track periods usually last way longer than those all in periods. And it's the reason that so many people will lose weight, gain it back, do well for a while, and then fall off track for a long time as well. So it's not serving you. So what can you do instead? It's about taking smaller steps. And I know this is hard to do. We want to take these big leaps. We want to get there faster. But when we take smaller steps, we can actually build a habit around the thing that we're trying to change, and it becomes a part of our lifestyle. I saw this meme on Facebook, and it was such a great example. It was a picture of 2 ladders of somebody trying to climb up this ladder. And on one side, the rungs on the ladder were really huge, right? It's that idea of the all in, trying to do it all perfect, trying to take these really big steps. And the person was still at the bottom of the ladder because they could never quite get to that second rung on the ladder. Whereas the other one had these little teeny tiny rungs. And the person was all the way at the top. They got to where they want to go because they just took it one rung at a time, and they could reach that next rung, and it was easier to get to. And it's no different when it comes to your food. We want to take smaller steps. We want to build consistency, and we want to build habits because that's what's going to stick in the long run, not just for a couple days or a couple weeks. So number 2 is about building in some moderation instead of giving up everything that you love. I've seen so many people out there go on a diet where it tells you have to give up, chocolate, tacos, pizza, and yes, I picked those because they are my absolute favorite things to have. And I can tell you right now, I was in a period of my life where I thought I could not eat that stuff. I would go out to a pizza joint with my friends and I'd be stuck eating a little side salad, and that was it, because I was like, oh no, I can't have pizza, right? So we can't live our lives when we have to give up every single food that we love. And I'm sorry, but it wasn't really enjoyable to sit there and just eat a salad watching everybody else eat pizza. And I don't want that for you. And the problem with that too was that what often happened is, yes, I could do that for a while, but being so restrictive and depriving myself so much is what led me to binge eating. It what led me to overeat on the weekends or after I was done with my 12-week diet or whatever the thing was. So the more we restrict and give up the foods that we love, the more likely we actually are to overeat them. This is why I hear so many people say, I was good Monday through Friday, but Friday night through Sunday, oh my gosh, I went off all the rails, and Sunday I was getting rid of everything in the house, which means eating everything in the house, and by Monday they're starting back over again, and the cycle continues for a long time, and it's an endless cycle, an endless loop where you never get anywhere. So I don't want to see that for you. So what can you do? Have some moderation. Allow yourself to have some of those things that you love. It doesn't mean we have to eat the whole bag of cookies, but we can have a cookie. Allow yourself to have that cookie. Allow yourself ways to put in the things that you love. Maybe not for every single meal, but when we can do it once in a while, it actually makes it easier to stay on track because we're not missing that food so much. All right, and number 3 is about taking that food down off the pedestal. So yes, we wanna have these things in moderation, but we also don't wanna put them out there like that's some elusive thing that we can never have. Because you know how it goes. If you're told you can't have something, guess what happens? You want it even more. So the more we tell ourselves, oh, you can't have the pizza, oh, you can't have the chocolate, oh, desserts are off limits, oh, no crunchy chips for you, the more you're gonna want that food. So that when you do get around it, you're not gonna have any control around that food and you're going to end up overeating it or binging it and taking yourself further off track. So what we can do here is, again, take it off the pedestal. Just tell yourself that you can have that food anytime you want. And I know you're sitting there going, oh man, I don't know about that. That seems a little scary. I can have it whenever I want. Am I not just gonna like overeat it every single day? No, you're not, because what actually happens is when you take it off that pedestal, you make it more of a normal everyday thing, it's less tempting. You actually aren't going to want it as much as you did before, so you'll naturally maybe eat a few bites and feel satisfied from it. Or have one cookie instead of having the whole row of cookies, right? So the more we can take it down off the pedestal, the easier it is for us to stay not off track, on track, and move towards our goals. All right, the next thing on the list is another thing that's gonna be challenging because we're so used to beating ourselves up every time something goes a little off the rails. So what I want you to focus on is being compassionate with yourself, okay? We've been taught that, hey, you have to go all in, you have to be perfect on this diet, and when you fall off track, you gotta beat yourself up, you gotta be hard on yourself. And it feels like that's the right thing to do that's gonna help motivate us, but actually it doesn't. It makes us feel bad about ourselves, and a lot of times I remember I would beat myself up and then I'd be like, ugh, what the heck? I already stink. What the heck? I'm just gonna go eat the rest of the bag of cookies I already messed up. So actually being tough on ourselves like this makes us feel bad about ourselves and we tend to make more poor decisions. But here's the thing, when we feel good about ourselves, when we're compassionate with ourselves, when we see that, hey, I'm human, humans are gonna slip up. Humans are gonna make mistakes and I'm going to too. I'm just gonna get on track and keep going with that next meal. Then guess what? You're more likely to stay on track. You're more likely to feel good about what you're doing and keep going. And it's so much more motivating than just beating yourself up. I mean, what would you say to your best friend if they slipped up on their diet? Would you tell them all the miserable things you say to yourself? I sure hope not. But we would be compassionate with them. We'd encourage them. We'd push them forward. We'd say, hey, keep going. You got this. You can do it. And I want you to catch yourself talking to yourself in that negative way and see if you can turn it around and encourage yourself and motivate yourself and know that it's okay to get off track sometimes. That's life. We're gonna have days that are busy. We're gonna have days we forget that lunch that we packed. We have days where, oh my gosh, I slept through the alarm and missed my workout. That's okay, that is life. What you gotta do is just keep going with the next opportunity. So lunch, you end up having to get pizza because you forgot your lunchbox. Cool, get back on track with dinner. You don't have to stop, you don't have to give up. You just forgive yourself and you keep going and you keep working towards those goals. And the last piece is really important as well, and it's about having enjoyment and satisfaction from the food you're eating. Another downfall of so many plans and diets out there is that they expect you to eat boring, bland, plain food that you don't look forward to. And I'm sorry, but it's gonna get really difficult to get excited about food, to have a great relationship with food if you don't like the food that you're eating and you don't enjoy the food that you're eating. So find ways to make it enjoyable, okay? Find ways to flavor your food, to try new recipes, to put things together in a different way so you look forward to the stuff that you're eating. Sauces and seasonings can be really great way to do that. And we talked a little bit earlier about moderation. You can bring moderation into the food you're eating. People feel like, oh my gosh, I can't just sprinkle a little bit of cheese on my salad. Well, heck yeah, you can. Nobody ever gained a bunch of weight because they had a sprinkle of cheese on their salad, right? It's usually from doing other things where we're completely off the rails, overeating things that we know we shouldn't. But a little bit of say cheese on your salad or putting just a little bit of sauce on something to make it so you actually enjoy it and look forward to it and actually eat it is huge, especially when it comes to those veggies, because I know so many people struggle with vegetables. Put something on it that makes it fun for you, that makes it tasty for you. Because the more we look forward to the foods that we're eating, the more likely we are to continue to make healthy choices. This is another reason why we tend to, eat those things that we know aren't great for us, because they taste good. And if the food that we're trying to eat that's healthy doesn't taste good, that's always gonna be a losing battle. We're always gonna wanna go to that junky stuff that we know we shouldn't be eating because we get pleasure out of it, because we enjoy it. So we wanna make sure we're moving our healthy food choices in that same direction. Well, let's make it fun, let's make it tasty. And hey, improving your relationship with food is also about managing those temptations, managing those cravings as they come up. And we've put together a free Tame Your Cravings guide that I think you will absolutely love. So make sure to check out that pinned comment down below to grab your copy today. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'm gonna be bringing you more nutrition videos just like this. And hey, I'd love to know, drop a comment below and let me know which one of these steps stood out to you the most.